traditional SEO, those days are gone. Everybody's using ChatGPT.
That's Fred Yalmeh, an 8-figure entrepreneur, 2 Comma Club C Award winner, and an expert in AI-driven platforms like LLM SEO.
I built a lot of different AI platforms since 2008.
In this episode, you'll learn what's replacing keyword-based SEO.
3 days ago, the CEO of Google just came and announced they are shifting everything from traditional SEO to AI mode.
Why businesses might not be growing as planned.
Repeatable stuff is killing businesses. There's a lot of things that we can automate in business.
What to focus on in 2026.
For a lot of people, just like, oh my God, AI is gonna take my job, or hey, the competitors doing this. So all these things happen because we don't educate ourselves. We're not in the game.
And the difference between falling behind and moving forward.
I don't aim for perfection. I aim for progress.
Welcome back to the 2 Comma Club podcast. Today I am joined by Fred Yalmeh. I'm really excited about this episode. We met back at Funnel Hacking Live International in Vegas, and since then he's been up to a lot of amazing things, including his LLM SEO. And so with that said, before we get into all that fun stuff, Fred, if you wouldn't mind kind of walking us through the journey that you've been through as an entrepreneur, dating back to when you got started, and then kind of how it is that you got to your first 2 Comma Club award, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much, John, for putting this show together. I enjoyed listening to a few of the past episodes in the past, and that's awesome stuff that you are doing with the podcast. Well, as you already mentioned, my name is Fred Yalmeh. So the journey, to be honest, it's just definitely been a roller coaster, right? In the beginning, I thought success was like all about the natural talents, and and it didn't work for me, and it was just like I was like, maybe it is not what it means for me. It's not like something that I can do it, right? That was the mindset, kept me stuck for a long time. That's how my journey started, right? But getting knocked down probably half a dozen times, even more than that. I cannot even count it on, to be honest. And I start to notice like entrepreneurs that I look to, like Russell, like the people that we already know, Russell Brunson, like Tony Robbins, right? They weren't just lucky, right? They were just resilient. They were treated failure as like their feedback, and they kept going. But again, at the time, I have no idea, right? So it was just like the mindset wasn't there, and that alone changed everything for me. I started working on my mindset, readings, getting coaches, getting trainers, learning to see how those challenge can be beneficial for me, right? So that's how I kind of struggled through the whole things from the beginning. So now I don't aim for perfection. So a lot of entrepreneurs, they got stuck in that because of the perfection. So I aim for progress. That's what one of the important thing I learned.
Love that.
I aim for the progress. And honestly, my biggest breakthrough came after I shifted how I think that mindset shift is what opened the door for everything I'm doing today. So those are the 2 Comma Club, everything that, just the awards that, we're getting, just for, kind of giving us the inspiration. You look back and see, oh my God, this is just like so cool, what I have done. But at the same time, in humble opinion, it's just like it will kind of take you back to the mindset that you had, and then that change, what happened, so to get you there. So that's all about the mindset again. So that's kind of where the journey started. So, and then it was, again, like I said, it was quite right though. And I'm not coming from the place that honestly uh, have a lot of rich people and all that things. But the thing is, you have to start from somewhere, right? And that's how I started, for so many different things, so many different funnel, different businesses, and a lot of failures, and to the point that as soon as I shift my mindset, I could get to the place that I really want in my life, to go. So
Yeah.
hopefully, kind of, again, I'm rambling around here and there, but there's a lot of things into it, to be honest, to get there. But I would say the mindset was one of the biggest one in my
Definitely.
journey.
Yeah. So you mentioned one of the things in there was, a lot of the failures that all of us as entrepreneurs experience along the way. I've heard it said that the road to success is paved with failure, and I'd love to hear some of those moments of adversity that you faced that you then ended up learning from, and how you pivoted and all that stuff.
Yeah, again, if I go back and just think about it, is one of the things that is always, I got stuck into was, of course, was the mindset is the biggest one. We all have challenging with that, and that was the really breakthrough for me to just pass that one, right? Because I was kind of like stuck. Everything I was trying to do was like, well, no, maybe this is not for me. Well, maybe because I just came to this country as an immigrant. I have to go through all these things. It's not for me, right? So the mindset wasn't there until I just went break through that mindset. After I start educating myself, after I start hanging with the right people, right? That's what Tony said. Proximity is a power, right? So you want to get to the group of the people that are smaller than you. If you go to that room, you are smaller than anybody else. Probably you are in the wrong room, right? So I was trying to get to the room that, you know, they were smarter than me. They know more than me. They have done, the things that I have not done yet, and that was the breakthrough for me because it takes me to the different level that I never thought I could, do on my own.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot to be said about the environment piece that you're referencing there. I think that's one of the most underrated things that we don't hear too much about when it comes to success, but I think is like super key. What were some of those environments that you first got into that started helping you kind of mold and change that mindset?
Uh, yeah, I mean that's a really good question actually. So I remember, yeah, if I go back again, so it was just something like the first mastermind that I went to was just like I had to drive 19 hours to go to California from Seattle to Long Beach, California, I believe. And it was like literally that was my first experience, with the mastermind, the people they knew about the marketing, the people they have done great things, in their business. And I was just like, man, I don't know if I can do it or not, right? So I went there, and it was just like literally out of blue, like these people they were talking about things that I had never heard, but I kept taking notes like crazy. Hey, can you tell me a little bit more on this? Can you tell me about that? So it was just the beginning of my journey, and I wasn't alone actually. I was with Jacqueline too. So we both were just so hungry for success. And again, that goes back to your mindset if you think about it, right? So if you really want it really bad, you will do whatever it takes. It's not the mindset is not gonna be something like, well, yeah, I got this issue. I don't have money. I have to drive. I don't have money to buy the tickets. Yeah, that's what we didn't have. So I have to drive the car all the way 19 hours, right? Non-stop. So those are the things that was just kind of, put me through this breakthrough. And the environment that you mentioned was the right environment for me. Even right now, if I look at it that time, maybe it's not the environment for me right now, but it was when I started. So again, it goes back to you need to start that, and that's what we did. Like literally, everybody listening to this, podcast right now, you just need to start wherever you at. So don't look at like, oh, I'm waiting for the perfect timing, or maybe thinking maybe this group is not for me, but I kind of like to go and experiment it or experience that topic, whatever it is, with them, right? I would highly suggest that you start with that, right? So that's what we did, and that's one of the things that helps us to break through in our business. And of course, there's a bunch of other stuff, and when it goes before after the mindset, right? So you also need to think about, like who's your mentors, who's gonna invest in you, what kind of learning that you're gonna do. Look at all this stuff that we went through a lot of events, like literally we invest in ourselves, every year, every month, so this is something that not like a one-time things. Like you literally, when you start this journey, it will kind of sink you in. So because you're gonna be obsessed about not only helping yourself and then serving others. So again, the why also is super super important for this breakthrough. There's so many other elements that goes to this one, but this just kind of what we did, for our own business.
Yeah.
Hope that kind of answers your question as far as
Yeah.
the environment is super, super important. And that was a really good question.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's awesome insights there. I think the environment piece and the mentors and everything like you're discussing is super critical. Who have been some of those people that have been in your life that have been acting as mentors, and what kinds of things did they kind of either help you understand through the process or kind of open doors for you? If you're listening to this show, it probably means one thing. You're focused on building a successful online business. Well, here's the truth. No matter how good your offers or systems are, they only work if you have a steady flow of quality leads coming in. And one of the most powerful ways that I've discovered to create that flow is through a podcast. That's why I created the Podcasting for Leads Masterclass. In this free masterclass, I break down how to design a podcast that consistently generates high quality leads for your business by building relationships with the right guests, which gives you access to their network, their list, and their audience, all while positioning you as the go-to authority in your niche. So, if you want to create a predictable lead flow, attract dream clients on repeat, and build the kind of authority that fuels your long-term growth, then check out the Podcasting for Leads Masterclass. The link is in the description down below. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
Well, I got a lot of mentors, to be honest. And, I got virtual mentors, I got in person mentors, in the marketing, in the personal development, in the spiritual developments. I've been working, been involved with Tony Robbins. Probably you guys know that, and been involved with you know high marketers like Russell Brunson, Ryan Dice, Frank Kearns, peoples like that. So that I have learned, Abraham, J. Abraham. So that's another of my mentors. So I have a lot of mentors. Even the books that you read. Now, mentor is not just like someone's exists right now, right? Napoleon Hills. I consider him as my mentor, right? Because those are the books that change your mindset. You need to think about it. It's just like it's not just the person mentors that they are alive. So it could be some people that you are listening to the podcast. It could be someone right now listening to your podcast, and then they took something out of it. It could be that then your podcast will be mentoring them toward their path. So this is how I look at the mentors and things in life. So everything could be a mentor if you just open your eyes and have the mindset around it.
Yeah, I really love that answer because I think it highlights one of the resources that we have in today's day and age with technology and everything is like you have access to pretty much anyone and everyone's brain who's on social media or doing any other kinds of content creation, and you have the ability to kind of have them as your mentor, like you said with Napoleon Hill, somebody who's no longer around but has content that when you dive into it can be consumed and understood in a really high level, which is fantastic. Um, so let's shift gears a little bit here and kind of dive into some of the marketing side of things. I see you have a handful of the two Comma Club awards behind you. Help me break down some of the offers that you guys have done in the past that have helped you guys achieve those awards.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of offers, of course. It's pretty normal for the entrepreneurs, to do a lot of A/B testing, a lot of different things. But to be honest, to scale the business and getting it to, 7, 8 figures, is all about simplifying things and simplicity. And that's the thing that a lot of us were missing, and including us, we were struggling with that because as a human, we always like to make things complicated, and that is where everything's got messy. That's where everything's kind of flat toe, and you cannot grow. You cannot take it to the next level, right? So that's where the with all this stuff that you're saying right now with our business, we get to the point to simplify the stuff, okay? And we create many different offer, of course, different audience. It was like a chaos. Like when you do all these things, of course, it's good to have a lot of A/B testing, but to the point that you understand, like it need to be very clear on who you're serving, who's your target audience, right? For us was like literally only one group of people that we were trying to serve and solve their problem, right? For example, in our e-commerce, with our beauty and skincare product, was like literally we were targeting everybody's, and we were doing okay. But again, goes back to how okay you were, 5 6 figure, or you want to cross that one to get 7 and 8, right? So it's all about simplifying the process in your business, and that's what we did. And after we did that one, this type of changes, that is kind of, you may think like, oh, it's overnight. No, it's not, because you have to figure it out your process in the business. And it's not something that honestly I can tell people, yeah, it's easy. No, but it's doable. We all can do it if we just figure it out how to, for example, automate the stuff that we are rapidly doing every day, right? How to hire the right support. Okay, repeatable stuff is killing businesses. There's a lot of things that we can automate in business, and thanks to AI right now, if everybody should using it at some point in some shape and form in their business. It's not just using it for the sake of AI to say, yeah, I'm using AI, but understanding how you can incorporate and implement those AIs, the technology, inside your progress, inside your business, so that way you can just focus on more important things. And that's what we did, honestly, and that's where we saw the shifts on scaling it from 5 6 to 7 and 8.
I love that. Simplicity is key. What were some of those things that you found that were needed steps for you guys that maybe are the same problems that other people have when it came to certain things that needed to be simplified, and then how you went about doing that to be able to make that leap from the 5 and 6 figures to the 7 and 8?
Very good question. Yeah. So I would say there are a few that we've been challenging. Was one of them was like, honestly, customer support, right? So because if you think about it, it's all about experience in any business. Think about like Amazon. So why this they became one of the giant and very successful platform? Because of the customer centric customer service experience they have, right? So think about like Airbnb. So a lot of people, they think Airbnb is just, they are in the business of hotel or like a short term things. No, Airbnb is in the business of experience. If you kind of think about it, right? So one of the things that we very focused and we're very good at is focusing on anything that around the experience that we can create for the customer in any type of niches. Doesn't really matter. You can give me any niches, I will go through it, and I will just focus on the experience that I can create in person with AIs, anything that it be like omnipresent. When it comes to the customer service, you need to be omnipresent. You cannot just say, yeah, yeah, we do have a really good customer service. We email customers back, this and that. That ain't gonna cut it anymore, guys. You know what I mean? So it need to be like all over. You need to be go above and beyond. So that is one of the biggest thing that we invest on in our business, and it paybacks really big time for us. And I would say like a lot of people, they may think like, yeah, that kind of doesn't make sense though, just kind of having that. It does when you think long term. And this is one of the biggest keys that big businesses using. I just mentioned it, right? So we took that advice, we took all these things, and we're using it in our business. I would say customer service. Then of course there's a bunch of other stuff internally. So we create a lot of different right now. Anything that we do, honestly, is go through the AI agent. We have a lot of AI agent. I got like a 35 of them that 24/7 they're doing different things in our business, right? And of course, human touch is also involved. But what I'm trying to say is, you need to hire AI before you hire the human. This is what we are doing right now. That's the shift that we had, and we see huge difference in our growth and scaling to the next level, because we start using the AI instead of just relying on the human and VAs and things like that. That we were just flat too. At the time, we were just relying on the VAs and human to help us to grow the business. Now, is we are unstoppable because literally I can figure it out all this process that we have in our business and just train the AI to do better than human, no mistake, nothing. So and still I can go over and overview stuff, every single time they do things to fine tune them and make the correction if we need to. So there again, it's not one size fits all to be honest for businesses. So you have to understand which part of your business you can implement those things and you go from there.
I love that. I think AI definitely falls right into that area when it comes to simplicity of being able to really create scale and leverage within your business to be able to do all the things that are needed to be done at an extreme level of accuracy, like you're mentioning. What are some of those things that you guys are utilizing in your business with AI to help smooth out the process and make it simpler and more scalable?
One of the things that we are, well, there's many things we're doing with AI, like I said, but one of them is right now it's helping us to actually crushing it with our e-commerce is having the agent, the voice agent. We basically develop and create this agent and having it in our Shopify account. When people they go to our Shopify and trying to buy things, most of us we do that all the time. And when we go shop, we call it cart abandonment. So you put something in the cart and then you just like you leave and you forget to buy it, or for whatever reason people they don't go through the whole process to pay for it, right? So now what we are doing is as soon as people they put their items inside the cart and they leave and they don't purchase, they don't go through the process, to check out and pay with their credit card or whatever. And 5 minutes, up 5 to 10 minutes later, if the agent doesn't see this process goes through and they did not finish their purchase, they make the call right away. They call the person and start the conversation. And the AI we're talking about is more like a human-like AI. Honestly, we know the technology is going super fast. Right now, it's even really hard. For someone to recognize it is the real, it is a fake. All these things. But again, we're not trying to trick people here. So we're trying to serve people, right? So at the same time, we're increasing the chance to generate more income, which right now we are testing this for past 5 6 months right now, and we're getting like 15 to 22% conversion rate just by doing that simple voice agent that we implemented inside our sales process. Simply 15 to 20%. Before we didn't know what it is, so people left their stuff in the cart. We did have like a few emails traditional way, like literally the email fired out, but that wasn't cutting it. It's not the things that works for many people right now. So that's why you have to be innovative. You have to understand. You think outside of the box. Again, it's not one size fits all. You just have to be creative around it and use this technology in your advantage. There's all any businesses they can use things around their own process, around their own offer, but this is one of the way. Okay, then we have another one that's set up for the sales. We have a high ticket program that we do have an application. People they go through the application. We have the agent that as soon as the applications fill out, the agent will call, welcome them, and then we'll try to understand, what they're looking for before even they go to the next step. Right? There's so many different level, honestly, that I can go through. I don't know if that's the time that you want to
Yeah.
get technical, but there is so many different level that we are using the AI agent, especially AI voice agent, so that literally can help us to do this process. Right now, we do have the process, the onboarding. When I start hiring, people, so I send them to the voice onboarding, so I don't need to be there myself, because that's a lot of time, to consider. So things like that, it does help, businesses to have more free time, because as a visionary, as a founder of the company, you always want to have time to have different impact in your business. What I mean about that is like Our job is not to figuring out all these things, right? And be present. So you want to be working on your business, not in your business, of course, right? So we're trying to eliminate all this stuff that is in between, and you either you have to do it yourself, or you have to have a team, dedicated team to do it, or you have to plan something like that to use technology and leverage the technology and plant those things inside the business that they can help you to grow. So there's three different ways. There's not like, and the first two is just gonna be a slow you down. Honestly, it's not that much growth. That's what we were always on the 5 6 figure for a while, till we figured out no, we need to kick it out. Like definitely we need to use and leverage the technology, and that's what we did.
That's awesome. I think that that's it sounds like you guys have really tapped into the power of using voice AI and doing that for phone calls and stuff, and it's helped your conversion rates quite a bit. It sounds like. What platforms do you guys utilize to be able to do that?
Well, we have our own platform. It's all in the house. We build. So that's one of the our company is a SaaS platform. Okay. So and then we have this voice technology, but mostly is a customization. It's not like you go to chat gpt is certain thing. So we do a lot of customization, and that's what I recommend any businesses they start something. It's good to understand the fundamental. That's the first thing I always advise people. I say yes, just go start using chat gpt, start using gemini, try to understand what is the fundamental of the technology, right? That's the first thing. And then you have to, when you understand it, then you can hire people, or you can whatever you want to do. Either you do it yourself, you still have to understand the fundamental, or even if you hire someone that is going to help you to explain what the process is, they can take a look at your stuff, right? And when they're building things, it need to be customized. I am not really fan of like a one size fits all. There's a lot of platform. We all know that it's just like crazy, crazy stuff happening right now, with all this platform offering AI. But eventually, right now, for example, let's go back to ChatGPT. Everybody's have it. Everybody's using it. So I would not recommend anyone to go inside ChatGPT and say, "Hey, write me an email sequences for this campaign, or write me an ad," and things like that. Well, let me ask you this question. So if everybody else have access to that platform, and probably they're gonna do the same thing as you are doing, so what is your advantage? Just
Exactly.
let it sink and think about it, right? What is your advantage you think is gonna be? So everybody, this is the baseline right now. So Chat GPT is kind of thing, it is the baseline. So we need to understand that, right? So now, if you wanna take it to the next level, you need to do the customization. You need to, do different things that your competitors are not doing, or they have no idea what's going on. So they're still stuck with the Chat GPTs and those platforms. So hopefully, kind of that answer your question. But yeah, we do have our own platform. We build things from scratch, and this is how we're doing it. For our, clients as well.
Is so you say you have clients in regards to that specific platform?
Yeah.
What
That's
where would you send people if they were interested in learning about that particular platform that you guys have?
Yeah. It's called Nexa Era. NEXAERA.com. Nexaera.com. So that's where they can learn more about the stuff that we're doing with the voice technology.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really cool concept. I've seen demos in like ads and stuff from time to time, and I mean, I could see how amazing that would be to have in anyone's business. So that's fantastic. One of the things we were talking about before we started this podcast today was where you guys are at right now with the I believe it was the LLM SEO. Is that right?
That's correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So
That's another platform that we are building, LLM SEO, because we believe, I personally believe, I'm so obsessed about it, because now we get to the point that we are actually one of our brand, the Yalmeh, the e-commerce that Jacqueline also involved, and she's the founder of the company. And we are actually doing the AI visibility things around it, because there's a structure, there's the promptabilities, there are certain things that you need to do with your website to get them ready to be recommended by those giant, AI platform. And this is like a blue ocean right now. Honestly, nobody's even talking about it. A few big marketers like Russell Brunson, you know, talked about it. The people that they understand where the market goes, they talked about it. And that's one thing right now. Got the team that we are working on this non-stop, and you will probably hear about LLM SEO, about us, the things that we are doing pretty soon.
Yeah, so help me understand how you guys identified the process that is the LLM SEO and how things have changed in the market in regards to that, and then where you're kind of taking that business at this time.
Well, that's a very good question, actually. Yeah, the process is pretty straightforward because now, if you think about it, like a traditional SEO, everybody was just going to the Google and just search something which was based on the keywords and all that things. So those days are gone. So even Google 3 days ago, the CEO of Google just came and announced they call it AI mood. So they are shifting everything from traditional SEO to AI mood, which all these brands they need to start figuring it out. How they're gonna look at their brands gonna show up in those platforms we mentioned, Gemini, Grook, Chat GPTs, Perplexities, right? So now, since the whole thing is shifting toward it, so people they're not going there, for asking for the keyword kind of thing. So they go to Chat GPT right now. If you ask your audience or even yourself or me, when was the last time you Google something? Probably it's been a while. Mine is like 2 years ago since I started using Chat GPT. So not everything, even the the behavior of the audience that we are dealing has been changed. Right? They go inside Chat GPT. They're gonna say, for example, what is the best eye cream that is organic, and I have a cold, I have the dark circle under my eyes and these. So kind of the is a conversational prompt they are using. And then guess what? So if your brand is ready for that AI visibility and you follow certain things which we figured it out already, and we're building the platform based on that. So if you have that when the chat GPT is gonna go crawl this whole internet, and then they're gonna find who is following the rules, who is paying attention, and who has the response to that question, right? So if you were just relying on the traditional SEO, like we all do in the past, so now those are just the keyword things that ChatGPT is not interested, and it's not even possible to read that structure anymore because we're talking about the LLM language, large language model. It's not just a traditional. So those are the things that we're working on right now. We have literally, uh, all the guides, all this, blueprint, what step each brand, because we are doing it for ourselves. So every single time, every single thing that we do on any of our platform, we're literally using it for ourselves. That's we solving the problem that we have. It's not like I'm just jumping because the hype is out there and people's building things, and putting it out there to make money. So we are solving the problem that we are facing for our own brand, and then of course, if it works for us, I'm pretty sure it will work for other people. So that's how I build SaaS platforms successfully. That's why I got those two common club for our SaaS because of that, particular method that we use.
That's amazing, Fred. I got to tell you, you're really smart, man. Like, and I mean that in all sincerity. Like,
Oh no.
being able to see the changing tides and the way that people are advancing in terms of how they're interacting with technology and understanding that it's opening up the blue ocean that is this new version of SEO is really cool. I'd love to hear. I'm just trying to wrap my brain around how it kind of has changed the SEO landscape a little bit. If you wouldn't mind, kind of helping me understand, like if I was trying to get my brand on ChatGPT, for example, to get it to pull from there? Like, what are some of the things that are different from that of the traditional like keyword search side of things?
Yeah, very, very good question, actually. Yeah, definitely. So let's say right now, anybody listen to this. So one of the things that I always recommend to start doing is register your brand, okay, with the Bing search engine. That is where ChatGPT get most of their information, all the contents, all the information from Bing. So you need to register your business with the Bing. It's free. You just go to the Bing account, you create an account, and you sign up, for your brands under the Bing. That's the first step, and it's huge. That alone, it will put you definitely like at 40% on top of your competitors by just doing that simple thing. However, so that is not the only thing. It's just gonna be like, okay, well, yeah, I did, so I'm good now. So it's not gonna happen. So that is the first step because you wanna make sure where ChatGPT is getting those information and giving it to the people when they start conversation. So that is Bing. We know that it's Microsoft, and they're gonna push their own, platform, right? So that's one thing. So now we go back to what I mentioned earlier. You need to think about the structure of your website. If your website doesn't have the structure for LLM, then probably doesn't really matter how good you were with the keywords. You had a bunch of nice stuff, video, everything's there. It doesn't really matter for LLM because they just scanning and crawling all this internet for the information they can understand. That's the language of the AI. Those platforms, they just understand the LLM. That's what they're looking for, right? So now there is in the back end of your website, so you have to apply those LLM, all right, and that is kind of where our platforms come in. So we building something right now. It's very, very excited, honestly, now because we have to do it manually, all this thing for ourselves. And I figured out, well, if there's nothing out there, nobody has it, so this is we're gonna do it for ourselves, and then we're gonna provide it, to other people. So now you have to create those structure. It's super, super crucial, super, super important, and that's why I keep mentioning it. If you don't have that structure, ChatGPT or any of those platforms cannot read it, so you out of picture right away, and doesn't matter how good your SEO is, they cannot read it. So those are the kind of coding is you have to basically create for each page. You have to go through your page in your website. I don't want to get too much technical, and drop some jargon words here, make your audience crazy. But in really simple word, I can tell you is a snippet code is a like a short code that you're creating for each site, and then you implement it in each one of your pages. So it need to be make sense for that page, the language that you're gonna provide. Okay, so it's called a schema marker. So the schema marker is super, super crucial for each one of those pages, so you have to create. Of course, again, you can create, right now you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is my website and I want a schema marker for this page, for example, and ChatGPT will do it for you, right? That's if you really honestly want to get it started, that's my recommendation. But what we are building around this is more than that, because you still have to understand how to implement it, right? For example, one of the things when you get those coding from ChatGPT, let's say you're doing it right now, then you have to understand where to adding it. And none of the sites, no ClickFunnels, there's no Go High Level, Shopify, WordPress has it, by the way, because that's a different platform. But you have to have the text file, the LLM text, that's what they call it, LLM text file, inside your website. Again, this is the structure we're talking about. We don't want to get too confused about it. So if you don't have that page, which most of us don't, then you cannot put those items, those coding, those structure for the LLM to find and scan when they are scanning. So those are kind of the key things that we are working on right now. It's like a 7 step, to be honest, and I will be more than happy to share with you. You can share it with your audience if you like. But yeah, those are the 7 steps that you have to go through each brands. We are doing it right now for ourselves. We are seeing the result. So those are the things that definitely, I highly, highly recommend people start thinking about the LLM SEO, because it is the blue ocean. You want to be there first right now. It's just like huge, huge deal for us.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see how, because, you mentioned how everyone is starting to use ChatGPT rather than like Google, for example. And I can think of, a variety of times where I've been hanging out with, say, my girlfriend, for example. We'll sit down and we'll start brainstorming something, and instead of Googling it, we're using ChatGPT to figure that out. So that just, furthers your point there. Just to wrap my head around kind of what you said a moment ago, it sounds like, if I understood correctly, uh, there's kind of like a specific backend page that's required in order to put that LLM text in, and the only platform that has that is WordPress at the moment, at
That's
least out of the ones that we've spoke of. And so, in
right.
order to be able to capitalize on this, not only do you have to have a WordPress site, but then you have to utilize that specific page, which is fascinating. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Again, that's just more like a sample size. It's not just only WordPress. I'm talking about just in general. But we are using right now, proxy, for example. So you don't need to have a WordPress or anything like that. So we are right now using proxy to do that. That's more technical, term that I'm using right there. So yeah, it's not necessary to have the WordPress, but if you do, that's fine. If your blog post is running on the WordPress, you can use that. If not, then our platforms offering the proxy. You can literally put your things there, and you connect it to the proxy, to the cloud, and it will do the rest for you, and it will generate all the JSON for you, the snippet code that I was talking to you. So it will create. We already have the future that does a schema marker. So you just create all your FAQs, your about us, anything that is related to your website need to have a schema marker, those coding. So it goes to back end, and then when the crawling is not just the wording things that they're gonna see. That's more like a user interface that you have on your site. And if you don't have that specific structure, again, it's not readable. That's why we call it AI visibility. And that's what we are right now focusing for the past 4 5 months, and plus building the platform around what is working and what is not working. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting time right now, to be honest. It's one of the very exciting platform. I would say I built a lot of different AI platform since 2008. I built Amazon Alexa. That's why you saw that stuff on my old Instagram. So we built AI platform around the Amazon Alexa at the time. So it was helping podcasters to get on Amazon Alexa and things like that. So I'm in the game for a while. So and this one is honestly is one of the kind. It's just I'm so obsessed. I wasn't even to be honest. I wasn't even fan of the traditional SEO. Like literally, it was just like it's too much, and it was just like crazy going after the keywords, doing this. But this one is kind of more resonate with me because it is the conversational search. So people right now they are asking. We all do that, and we want 0-click answers. That's why we are shifting our behavior instead of just doing the Google, going toward the recommended by AI. And even the shopping, to be honest, gonna be like that. People are not gonna go. That's another exciting thing is gonna happen. It's happening right now. Even Google already doing it. So you don't need even to go to any website. Literally, it's website funnel. In my opinion, next 3 to 5 years is gonna be absolute. Like literally, you don't need any of those. So that's kind of my prediction. So everything's gonna happen inside the ecosystem of AI platforms that people are engaging.
Yeah, that's a really interesting um, thought of what the future is going to bring, essentially. And I could see it. I could personally see it. I agree with you in that respect. I think that one thing that's kind of playing in the market as well, and I don't know if you can speak to this or not, but there's been this looming conversation in different rooms that I've heard about a quote unquote like trust recession, right? Where everyone's starting to come into a place where online they've been hit with so many different ads and they've been hit with so many different offers in every way, shape, and form that it's almost like a fatigue around it, right? And so the thing that I think that you pointed out that's interesting about the AI side of things is that it's more conversational, right? Rather than just being like a, hey, here's the offer right in front of your face and there's no back and forth. Instead, it's conversational, giving people the ability to speak about it. And so I'm curious to know, like, how you think that's going to impact just the business in general as things move forward in that more conversational trust recession type era.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, this is something like we all gonna face it. To be honest, you already mentioned that, but the difference is who's gonna educate themselves and get ready for all this adaptability, right? It's you have to pivot. That's why I always tell people start with chat GPT. That's a fundamental. Start using those things so they're understanding that. Don't just sit and try to figure everybody else trying to figure it out and then you jump on and using different platforms. There's all this hypes happening, right? So I believe it's the thing is gonna be uh, yeah, it's just like very exciting at the same time. It's kind of scary too, I would say, if you are not aware of it and if you don't have the knowledge around it. For a lot of people, it's just like, oh my God, AI is gonna take my job, or hey, the competitors doing this. So all these things happen because we don't educate ourselves. We're not in the game. So you just, a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses stay out of the game, and then when they hear this type of thing, then they just go crazy. That's all these things happening right now. I can see we all seeing it. But my suggestion, for me, even I cannot honestly catch up with all this AI things happening. There's so many amazing things happening. But at least I'm in the game. I educate myself. I'm trying to protect, our brand, at any shape and form that I can. So, and then just move forward with it. Honestly, just kind of have to pivot, learn, and just keep moving forward toward it. And use it in the right way. Honestly, we got the bad side, good side. So, as an entrepreneur, we're trying to serve the humanity. We're trying to serve, the people that we serve. So we'll figure it out how to do that with AI. The rest is gonna be something, we just have to honestly uh, go as if we go all together. But the people, they don't understand that they're gonna have a struggle,
Hmm.
and they will probably have that type of mindset, the failure mindset, the scam mindset. The AI is gonna do this, AI gonna do that. So we are hearing and seeing this type of things happening right now.
Yeah, I think one thing I'd kind of categorize those two different trains of thought in is like one is more of the I would consider it like the scarcity mindset, where it's like all the bad things that are coming as a result of AI, like you mentioned, like people fearing the idea of job loss and things of that nature. Which, don't get me wrong, it'll likely happen, just like at any period of time where there's a lot of great technological advancement. But to your point, if you look at it in the abundance mindset, the other side, then it ends up being an area where it's like, oh, like you have the ability to utilize this if you invest in yourself and you learn it. And I think that's a
Correct.
very critical mindset there for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
correct.
yeah. So we're almost halfway through 2025. What's some of the big goals that you guys have going on before the year comes to an end?
Oh, that's a really good question, man. Yeah. Well, one of the big goal right now, honestly, we're trying to invest more into our health, and we got a lot of coaches, there's really good coaches in our health, longevities, things like that. And as you probably know, we travel a lot, so it's very essential for us, to keep our health, optimized, and make sure, we are in good shape. That's one thing. And the second thing after our health and things like that is just gonna be the family, of course. Health and family is first, and then the second thing I would say it's just gonna be the SEO, the LLM SEO that we are focusing, and we're trying to implement those things to the brands that we have, that we can definitely grab all this I would say free traffic, to be honest. Like literally, I'm not really a fan of free things, and I always pay for things. But this one is just the blue ocean. I'm super super excited and super super grateful for it. And this opportunities is here for all of us, and that's our focus gonna be for the rest of this 2025.
Awesome. Those are some good goals. I love the concept of making sure that you focus on things just outside of the business, not only in the business but also outside of the business, like the health and family. I've seen several entrepreneurs that I follow that end up getting very hyper focused and obsessed on their business to the detriment of the rest of their life. And one of those things that I think we need to talk about more is not not necessarily, I guess the word that would be controversial in this case is like balance, right? And it's like everybody's like, oh, you got to have good work life balance. But really, what it is like making sure that you have like a full life, if you will, right? And making sure that you've checked all the boxes and all the different angles and everything. So that's awesome. Um, so, one of the final questions I like to ask as we get closer to the end of the podcast here is given all of your life experience and everything that you've been through in um, business and everything else, like what is the best piece of advice that you could leave for humanity? We have the ability to record moments in time like this, and it can be documented for years to come. So, what would you say is kind of like that one thing that you'd love to leave behind?
Oh man, that's a very good question. Yeah. Yeah, I would say honestly, my advice is for anybody listening to this podcast is gonna be stop waiting for permission. So what I mean about that, too many people are stuck thinking they need more time, they need more money, or someone to validate their idea. Honestly, it's just like literally those people are out there. But success doesn't show up when everything is perfect. And I already told you guys, you heard in my story a little bit. So it wasn't just perfect, from the beginning. It was just like a lot of roller coaster, right? It's showing up when it takes massive action with what you have got. That's where the success gonna happen. So that's literally my advice. Just start what you have to start with and put it out there. And I have been learned that the mindset, go back to the mindset. Everything that you talk about is the mindset is everything. If you believe you are meant to be more in your life and you back that belief with consistent action, guys, like literally with consistent, I'm not just gonna BS here and sugarcoat it. And no, there's a lot of out there, honestly, in the social media. They are enabler. That's what I call them. They enable you, but they don't give you the raw material. They don't tell you. And honestly, that's what I'm telling you right now. So you will find a way. Invest in learning. Surrounded yourself with the people who stretch you, not just the people tap on your back. I'm not talking about your cousin. I'm not talking about your parents, your mom. I'm so proud of you, babe. No, none of those. So you need the people that stretch you. That's what surrounding yourself with the right people, the entrepreneurs, the people that are, smarter than you. They have done things that you trying to get to that level, right? And don't be afraid to fall. I mean, honestly, I'm an expert in failure. First and foremost, I tell everybody I'm an expert in failure. I failed. I built over 300 funnels to get to this funnel that it did help me. When Russell say you are one funnel away, a lot of people will say, "Oh, damn, this is cool." But no, that doesn't mean that funnel. He's not trying to telling you the funnel way is the first funnel you build, right? So we all know that, but a lot of people they kind of interpreted or translated in the wrong way. Okay, failure not the opposite of your success. So it is the path of it. It is the path of the path. So what I'm trying to say is just keep going and you will get there. If you're really hungry for that success, start it. Wherever you are in life, I would say just start it. The first step. So, and one more thing is take care of your mind and body. Burnout doesn't build empire. And that's another issue we all got challenged with it. When you burn out, is done, man. Success shouldn't feel fulfilling, okay? Not exhausting and tired and be pissed off all the time. So those are, something that I can just pass on with that question that you just asked. Hopefully that helps someone if they're listening to it. So
That was some very good advice, and I totally back every piece of that. Um, So I just want to say thank you so much for your time today and hopping on here and sharing your story and your amazing insights. Really eager to learn more about the LLM SEO as things develop. And where is it that anybody who's listening can either reach out to you or get involved in some of the things that you have going on?
well, I'm mostly in the LinkedIn. Most of my social media is on the Fred Yalmeh. So if you have a show note, so you can just put my first name, my last name, Fred Yalmeh, and Yalmeh is spelled Yalmeh, or you go to fredyalmeh.com. So you kind of see a bunch of my stuff over there, what I do, on the social media. But yeah, I'm more in the LinkedIn guy, so you can find me on LinkedIn. Send me the connection. I will be more than happy to connect with anybody, your audience, who are listening to this podcast. And if there's anything that I can add value to their lives, I will be more than happy to do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time today. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate for having us.